Hello soulmates, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time of seeing my channel, thank you for stopping by. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for watching. So in this tutorial, we're going to be learning how to make this beautiful high-low crop top. It's a Bubu crop top that has two pockets designs, two pockets that are flipping at the front. So if you're interested in learning this tutorial, please join me while we get started. Okay, so soulmates, I'm making use of this Ankara fabric. So this African print is about 3 yards, although I think I used about 2.5 yards at the end. So this is an Ankara fabric that has two different prints on it. You can use any Ankara fabric of your choice. Okay, so I went ahead to cut a piece of this. Like I said, 2.5 yards is enough for this. So I went ahead to cut a piece of this. As you can see, I just went ahead to measure the length of what I want. So I will be working with about 30 inches, and this is about 16 inches long because of course I'm going to be folding it. So you can see the way I folded the Ankara fabric. After folding it on one side, I went ahead to fold it again, as you can see. So by the time I have folded it like this, now it should be giving me 30 inches in length. Okay, so at least that 30 inches is enough for me to cut the length I want and even the allowance that I need. So before you go ahead and cut it out, you have to take the measurement and be sure that it's enough for you to cut what you want. Okay, so I'm just going ahead to align it well. So as you can see, this part is having 4 pieces. That is going to be the area where we are going to be having our sleeve, and the lower part as well is going to be like this. It's 4 pieces, as you can see, which is going to be the hem area, and this area that is folded like this is going to be our center back and center front. So we're going to be cutting the back and the front together, and the upper part is where we're going to be having our shoulder. Okay, so now this is the measurement I'm going to be using. I can see that it's not so clear. I know it's not so clear, but I'll be saying them while we are using them. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and start taking our measurements. Okay, so first thing I want to do is to mark the shoulder measurements. I'm going to be working with a shoulder of 15 inches. So by the time you divide your shoulder into two, we're going to be having 7.5. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 7.5 from the center front. Okay, like I said, we are cutting the center front and the back together. Okay, so then I'm also marking 3 inches from the center front, which is going to be my neck width. Okay, that's going to be my neck width, and then the 7.5 inches I marked earlier is for the shoulder divided by 2. Then now from that 7.5, I'm marking 14 inches for my sleeve. Now this includes both the sleeve and the allowance, so depending on how long you want your sleeve to be, just go ahead and mark it there. So 14 inches is enough for me to have my sleeve and to also fold it at the hem. So now I'm taking the neck depth of 1 inch. I'm using the back measurements for this. Okay, so from the back, I'm going to be using it to cut the front afterwards. So I'm connecting them together with a curve, as you can see. So this is going to be the neck depth for the front, for the back rather. I'm going to use the back to cut the front. Now from that sleeve area, I'm going to measure how open I want the sleeve to be, or how wide I want my sleeve to be. So I'm working with 10 inches, and I added 1 inch to make it 11 inches. So I'm going to use that 1 inch to join it at the sides. Okay, so after marking 11 inches from that point where I marked 14 inches for the sleeve, I went ahead to connect it with a straight line like this. Okay, I know we cannot see this very well, but I'll try my best to make it visible for us to see. So after that, from that point where I marked that 11 inches, that should be my shoulder to bust. My shoulder to bust is around 10 inches, but I'm going to work from that 11 inches, and I'm going to mark the bust circumference divided by 4, which I'm working with 34 inches. So 34 inches divided by 4 is going to give me 8.5, and that's what I marked. So from that 8.5, I'm adding 4.5 inches because this is a Bubu gown, a Bubu top rather. It does not it's not fitted, it has to be free. Okay, it has to be free, so I'm adding 4.5 inches to it, which later summed up to 13 inches, and that is going to be enough for it to be free and for you to be my allowance. Okay, so I just marked 17 inches from the shoulder. As you can see, I marked 17 inches from the shoulder. I went ahead to connect that sleeve to that point where I marked 13 inches at the bust point. Okay, so I marked 17 inches at the shoulder, which is going to be for the front, and I also went ahead to mark 27 inches at the hem area, which is going to be the back. Remember, this is a high-low crop top. The back is going to be longer than the front, and the back is going to be 27 inches, which is going to be 1 inch below my hip line, and then the front is just going to be on the waistline, which is 17 inches. So you can see the line I marked at the hem area. That is where the back is going to end. So I just went ahead to mark that 13 inches I marked at the bust area, and I marked it there at the hem area, and I'm going to use my ruler to connect it with a straight line. Okay, remember this is a crop top, and it's a big, like, it's a boo crop top, so it does not really have any particular shape. It has to be equal. That's why we are connecting them together. So this point where I mark 17 inches is where I'm going to be using for my front. I'm not going to use it now, I'll cut it out later. I'm just showing you to tell you that the front is going to stop at the waistline. I'm only going to add 1 inch below it, which I'll be using to fold it at the hem. Okay, so now we've already gone ahead to mark out the points we need, or the areas we need. What I'm going to do now is to cut it out. So if you're a beginner in the fashion industry, or you love fashion, you want to learn how to draft and cut dresses and even make dresses, we have a beginner class that is already ongoing, and it's going for just 5,000 naira. If you're interested in learning how to go about pattern drafting and sewing, then just send a message to the number that is displayed on the screen, and then you can make inquiry, and then you're good to go. Okay, so I've already gone ahead to cut it, and I've flipped it open, as you can see. So you also notice that when I was cutting the arm, the sleeve area, I also make sure I put a curve around the armhole area. I mean to say, yeah, around the armpit area, so that it does not look sharp, but give it a curve there before cutting it. So this is what it's going to look like by the time we've done it. This is the front piece, and the back will be the back piece. Okay, so I'll just assume that this is the front because they are the same, as you can see. So this is front, the other side is the back. So now for us to get the neck design at this point here, we're going to have to cut it out. So we are going to have to open it like this, as you can see the way I opened it. I turned it the other way. So it doesn't matter if you are using a fabric print that has this double design. You can be using the fabric that has just one design. It's still okay, and it's not necessary that you have to use Ankara fabric. You can use any fabric of your choice, it will still come out well. So now by the time you turn it, you're going to be having one side as front and the other side as back. So this side can be the front piece, and the other side can be the back piece. I'm just going to mark 2 inches from that neck area, which I'm going to mark down, but I decided to flip this to the other side because I realized that my chalk is not visible on this part of the fabric. So I turned to this other side that is darker, so that when I'm marking my chalk on it can be visible for you to see what I'm doing. So I'm just arranging it properly. Ensure that you arrange your fabric well so that it doesn't keep moving when you're working on it. So like I said, one part is the front and the other side is the back. So I'll be using this side as the front piece, and from the neck I marked 2 inches. This is how wide I want the neck design to be, the collar that's going to be around there. So it depends on how wide you want it. If you want it to be 1.5, 2 inches, 2.5, 3 inches, you're good to go. But I think 3 inches is the highest it should be, because I don't think it's going to look good if it's a bit more than that. So I'm using 2 inches, and I've marked it from the neck down to the area where we have the hem of the dress. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out. So I'm cutting down from the hem down to the neck area, and by the time I cut it out, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, so mates, I'm trying to flip it over so that we can see what it looks like. So as you can see now, it's looking like a kimono. Yes, it's looking like a kimono, but we're not actually doing a kimono. But this is what it's going to look like, because we've already taken out that part from the center front, and we're going to be replacing it with the neck design we're going to be using there. Okay, so now I'm trying to place it properly so that it can be firm and stable and not be moving when I'm working on it. So ensure you place it well so that when you're cutting accurately. Okay, so mates, I'm going to mark the 17 inches I said I was going to mark for the length of the front. Okay, I only added 1 inch, so I'm marking 18 inches instead of 17 inches because I'm going to be folding it at that point. And after marking it at both sides, I'm connecting them together with a straight line so that I can go ahead and cut it out well. So I'll just go ahead and cut it out. Please note that it's not necessary that you have to put it on your waistline. You can decide to come down or come up above your waistline. Whichever way you want it to be, it's totally fine. But I think putting it on the waistline is better, or it looks beautiful. That's what I think. So just go ahead and do it the way you want it. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to cut it out. This is what it's going to be. The back is very long, and it's not necessary you have to make your back to be long the way mine is. Okay, you don't have to use that much. You can say stay above the hip, or whichever way you want it to be. Now this is the sleeve area. I'm trying to show you that I'm going to go ahead and fold it at that part, or I'm going to hem it with my hemming gum. Whichever one you want to use is fine. Just ensure you make it very neat and smooth. And I'm also going to hem the back, the hem area of the back. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and do that, then I'll come and show you what it looks like. So mates, I've already gone ahead to hem the sleeve area. As you can see, it's looking very neat. I went ahead to use my hemming gum. I did not really stitch on it, but you can go ahead and stitch on it. Then after stitching on it, just give it a good press so that it looks very nice. Okay, so now we're going to be working on the neck design. Take note that I did not hem the front part. I did not hem the front part because I want to fix the neck design before I go ahead and hem the lower part of it. So what I'm doing is taking the round measurement from one side of the neck to the other. So I started from the hem area of one side down. Oh, sorry. I started from the hem, coming up to the neck, round the neck, and down to the other part of it. And I have 45 inches there. I hope you understand what I mean. I just took the measurement of what I have all round from the hem of one side of the front, coming up to the neck, round to the neck, down to the other side. Okay, everything gave me 45 inches, and that's what I'm trying to cut on these pieces. So I want it to be as wide as 5 inches, I mean 4 inches, because I cut out 2 inches from the neck design before. So if you want it to be equal, you just have to cut exactly what's there. I'm marking 5 inches here because I'm going to be joining it with half an inch allowance on both sides, and that's going to give me 1 inch. So by the time I add the 4 inches, which is 2 inches on both sides that I have taken out from the front, is going to be 5 inches, and that is what I have here. So the length is 45 inches and the width is 5 inches, which is just fine. So I'm just going to take it to my iron, and after folding it equally like this, I'm going to give it a very good press. This is going to help make it easy for me when I am joining it to the top. Okay, so just go ahead and press it. So after pressing it, this is what I have. So I just want you to note that I'm just trying to create a design on the dress. That's why I'm using the pieces like this. Okay, so if you're using a plain pattern of fabric, just go ahead and cut it out straight. So you can see what I'm doing right now. I just went ahead to open it and flip it to the back, placing it equally. You can see what it looks. So at the middle line, there's a crease line there because of course we pressed it with our iron, and then by the time you open it, you see a crease line at the center. So from that point, we are going to take our neck measurement. That is how wide or open you want your neck to be. So I'm going to be working with 13 inches. That is from my shoulder to how long I want the neck to be. So that means that if I have 13 inches, the round neck should be about 26 inches. So just take the round measurement of your neck to determine how wide you want it to be. Ensure that it is wide enough for you to be able to remove your clothes and wear your clothes easily. Remember, we are not using a zip. It's a Bubu dress, so it should be open enough to come out and come in. Okay, when you're wearing it, to be easy for you. So after that, I marked the 13 inches from the top, and you can see I'm trying to align the fabric properly. And then from that 13 inches that I marked there, I'm going to sew it down. You can see what I'm doing. I'm going to sew it down from that point down to the hem. Okay, so now I've already gone ahead to do that with my machine, and as you can see, this is what it looks like. I'm flipping it to the other side, and this is what it looks like. So you can see the opening at the front part. That is where the neck collar is going to be. So it's going to form a collar at the neck area, and this is what it's going to look like. Okay, so with this, I'm going to bring the top, and I'm going to place it there so we can attach it together. Okay, so if you're making yours, you should have something like this. Okay, so I just brought out the top. As you can see, I'm going to align it very well because that's very important. You have to make sure you align it properly. Okay, at this point you can actually fix your side though, but I want to fix the neck first before fixing the side of the dress. So you can just do it the way I'm doing it. You still get it right. Okay, so I'm just trying to create a design there. That's why I am putting the collar this way, as you can see. So you can place it whichever way you want it. If you are using a design fabric. Okay, so if you're not using a two design fabric, just go ahead and place it the way you want it to be. So as you can see, you can see the way I flipped it the other way before pinning it. Okay, after placing it on the dress, I just flip it to one side, then pin it. So I'm going to go ahead and pin it all around through the neck down to the other side of the dress. So after flipping it, this is what it looks like from the front, and from the back this is what it is. So you can see I've gone ahead to pin it down, and I'm going to be stitching it with 1/2 inch. Okay, so you can notch the neck area when you're doing this for you to make sure that it is aligning, or make it easy for you. Just go ahead and notch the neck area, the center, and notch it as well on the neck design before you go ahead and pin it, so that it can be equal. Okay, so at this point I've already gone ahead to stitch it down with 1/2 inch, and I'm removing all the pins that I have there. So after removing the pins, I'm going to show you what it looks like from the front. Okay, so mate, this is what it looks like after joining it with 1/2 inch from the back. As you can see, this is what it looks like. I'm trying to align it. I've not ironed it yet, but I just want to show you what it looks like. You can see it's already in place and it's firm. So if you do this accurately, you have a good result like this. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So at this point now, we can go ahead and join the sides. Okay, for you to join the side, just turn it over to the back, and align it well. Please ensure that when you're doing this, it is properly aligned. If you have to use pins, go ahead and use pins to hold them. Okay, so you're going to be stitching the sides with 1 inch. Yeah, I'm going to be stitching the side with 1 inch, and for this lower part of the dress, you're going to be folding that part. Okay, we're going to be folding it and stitching it. We're going to be doing it for the both side, but I want you to take note that before you go ahead and join the 1 inch on both sides, please, you have to hem the front. You remember I said I did not hem it because I want to join the neck design first. So now that I've joined the neck design, I'm going to go ahead and hem the front, and then after hemming it, I can now go ahead and stitch it on both sides with 1 inch down to the sleeve. Okay, please take note that you have to stitch it. When you stitch it, from that point you stitch, you're going to be folding the back inside like this, so that it comes out well and comes out neat. So I'm going to take it to my machine and do that. Okay, so mates, as you can see, I've gone ahead to stitch it, and I folded the back part. So now we're going to be fixing the pocket. So as you can see, I went ahead to cut out a piece of fabric that I have there, and this is about 9 inches wide and about 20 or 21 inches long. So for you to get the measurement, you're just going to measure how long you want it. So I want my pocket to be about 9 inches long and 7 inches wide on the dress. So just measure height and know how long you want it to be on your dress. Then I went ahead to measure what I have here. What I have there is about 10.5 inches. So I will just mark 9 inches from the lower part and use my chalk to indicate where it's going to stop, so that when I'm folding it, I can tell where I want it to be. So what you're going to do right now is that you're going to fold the upper part, and then for the width, since it's 9 inches on the width, I'm going to just mark 1 inch on both sides, so that I can have 7 inches in the middle, because I want just 7 inches width. Okay, so yours can be 8 inches, 6 inches, depending on how you want it to be. It's up to you. So now you can see the way I'm folding the upper part. I'm folding it, ensuring that it's giving me that exact 9 inches that I want for the length. Okay, so you just take it to your machine and do that. You're going to do the same thing for both sides, and then you stitch both, or the side you stitch 1 inch on both sides, so that you can have 7 inches, because it's 9 inches there before. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to do that. This is what I have now. I'm going to trim out the sides, because of course I marked 1 inch there and it's too much. I don't want it to be bulgy at that point, but if you want to leave it, it's up to you. If you're able to manage it, then fine. So now I'm going to flip it over to the other side, and as you can see, it's like a small pocket bag there. Excuse me. So it's like a small pocket bag there, as you can see. That's what it is. So you can just go ahead and press it just like I did, because pressing it will help it relax properly and you'll be able to fix it. So I just wanted it to be like 4 inches on the fabric, so I marked 4 inches with my tape before I pinned it down to the top. Mind you, you're only pinning it to the front part, you're not pinning it to the back. Okay, So you can see I'm marking 4 inches there because that's how long I want it to be on the top. The other part that is going to be 5 inches is going to be the flipping area on the underneath the front line, the underneath the front hem. Okay, so as you can see, I've gone ahead to pin it down. You're going to stitch at this side of the pocket and then stitch at the part where you mark the 4 inches in both sides. Same thing you're going to do for the other side of the pocket. This is going to help it to stay. Okay, so I've gone ahead to do that. As you can see, this is what I have. My pocket bag is already in place. So soulmate, you have come to the end of this tutorial. You can go ahead and give it a very good press, and also go ahead and overlock it. The allowances you've joined, overlock it so it can have a very good neat finishing. So this is the outcome of the dress. If you find this tutorial very helpful, do not hesitate to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys in my next video.